Alright, today I'm going to try assembling the Z1 VRX70B turbos. I couldn't find the specific videos for assembling these, so I'll make one in the hopes that it helps someone else out. I have a combination of clocking instructions, an email or two with Z1, and then just video references of different assembly types to try and get this done. One thing you'll need is some high temp RTV, and the reason for that is on this compressor side housing. I'm not sure if the camera can get it well, but 3 of the bolt holes on each compressor housing go into. So without sealing those bolts with some RTV, you'll have slight air leak or air passing by the bolt. So you just kind of use it like you would a Loctite on the bolt and then thread it in. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is apply your O-ring into that groove. It's kind of hard to see, but it's down in there. And you want to do your best to stretch it in and not roll it, because then it will try rolling back out on its own once it's under pressure. So do your best to stretch it into the groove. Alright, so I had my wife hold the housing kind of level for me, because when you're setting this down in, you want to be real careful not to hit the compressor fins on the housing, because they bend very easily. And I want to show you quick on this one. Everything's hard to see because of the reflectiveness of the compressor, or the CHRA, but right here there's a little pin or dowel. Inside of each housing, there is a little hole that you can see there on the left side on this flat area. Hang on, don't have enough hands for this. Right here. That's where that little dowel needs to go. So when you're setting it down in, just have it close to there, so then you barely have to turn it left or right to get it to drop in. Or if you're lucky, you'll line it up and it'll go right in to begin with. But your main thing you want to make sure of is to not bang that compressor wheel into the housing, because it will bend it. My little torque wrench doesn't make like a super loud click, but you can feel the neck break on it. One more little check on each one. Alright, that is one compressor side down, one to go. Just repeat on the next one. It's real easy. You just get all your bolts started. Don't tighten them down all the way, obviously, because you need to be able to turn the unit. But once you have it turned in place, snug a couple of these down, and then cross tighten them like we did up top. The only other thing I can say is that if you get to this point and you question, like I did, why we RTV'd these holes that were through holes and not this, because heck, all but one on this housing was a through hole, it's because this is an exhaust side, so if some air comes out of there, I guess it's okay. I asked Mark with Sonic Tuned. He's a Infiniti master tech and has worked on these for a long time, and he said that you don't need RTV on this side. In my mind, I think, why not keep all the gas within the unit, you know, as long as possible, but it's not going to hurt anything on this end with what little bit will leak past the bolts. Okay, so we have now set the whole unit into the turbine side, and no one told me which fixture went where, so I just used this picture and the clocking instructions, and noticed that the short one, it's hard to see again because of this light that I have to have on, but the shorter compressor housing would only fit up to this piece. So if you match this picture, you can't put it on the wrong side, basically. And then here's your clocking fixture they provide. Pull that out, set your fixture in there nice and flush. Make sure you're touching here, and then you want your fixture touching up against the lip of this edge here. And now in the instructions it shows like an acceptable and non-acceptable gap, which if you print these out you'll be able to see. I'm assuming no gap is better, so I didn't read the instructions. I'll do that now to see if you want a little bit of a gap or if you want it as flush as possible. If it's different than how I just told you to do it, I'll add that into the video, but I'm pretty sure if you have it sitting flush, it's going to be fine. Because the more gap says not acceptable, so smaller the better, I'm figuring. Alright, so now that we decided to read the instructions, like smart people would do, it doesn't specify whether or not no gap is better than some gap. What it does say is that they noticed on cars that these were removed from, the ones that were clocked properly had an 1/8 inch gap, but no more than that. So I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it tight, and if it doesn't line up, the motor's going to be out of the car. It'll be real easy for the shop to turn this sucker 1/8 of an inch if they have to. So this is how I'm going with it. Tight gap. Alright, one is done. You're going to repeat the same thing on the next side. Alright, there we are, both fully assembled, finally. Got off my butt and did it. I had to. The install's coming up end of the month, so should be ready to go now.